Welcome, my friends, to another commentary, this time of my Labyrinth video. I'm Haley.
And I'm Charlie, and this is my favorite video of hers.
Yay, thank you.
I will hear nothing to the contrary.
You also shot this intro.
Yep.
You did a very good job.
And this is how to avoid copyright strikes 101, kids, because this video isn't monetized.
This song and the shots for this opening are an homage to the music video for Black Star, which is in one of David Bowie's last albums.
One of, that is the last.
Well, there was a posthumous EP, but
Oh, that's right.
Black Star was the last full album, so I used this as a sort of homage, because I had written most of this script has nothing to do with David Bowie, but I had to acknowledge it somehow, because I wrote this the year Bowie died.
Well, this was basically in development hell for a while.
Oh,
It's something that I had wanted to revisit, because I did a very poorly made video of Labyrinth years ago, back before we got married.
Hey, what's that iCard in the corner doing?
Lol.
One of the first films I remember seeing,
And
and the second time
I
saw it,
had always
Sarah's
wanted
age.
to go through
It's
full
been a huge
analysis
part
of the
my
film
fan development
from
art
a
and
feminist
life.
/ folkloric perspective.
So huge.
And-
Writing a comprehensive video on the subject.
and
most of it's
I had been
screened.
working on it steadily
30th
throughout the 30th
30th
anniversary. I was
anniversaries.
hoping to get it done by the 30th
Certain
anniversary, and then I
glaring princes
didn't.
had to return to their home
And after
among
some
the
more
stars
pausing,
and complicate things.
Yeah.
David
People.
Bowie died,
But
and then
here
I
we
was like,
are, a
nope,
few years
I'm
later,
writing this tonight.
and
And I think,
Dance
like, the
About
day
Dance,
after I
and our
heard the
kingdom
news,
is
I
great.
sat down with the film and started my full note pass on it.
There we go.
Yeah.
I
love
love
this.
this.
Because a lot of video essays do that kind of interstitial card thing, and I wanted to add just the words of the filmmakers and their ideas, which backed up mine.
Wanted to collaborate on another
There's
fantasy.
Jim Henson and Brian
First image that came
Froud.
to Brian's mind was that
Yay.
of a child
It
surrounded
was also
by
very
goblins.
vindicating to go
And
to
he
the
said,
Jim Henson
"Why don't we
exhibit
set
at the
it in a
Skirble
labyrinth? That's a good place
this
for
year and
transformation."
see
And Jim said, yeah,
some of
let's
the
go with that.
Labyrinth props and
He wanted to
costumes
make a
in
fairy tale for his
person.
daughters, so the hero
Not
became
that
a
dress,
teenage
though,
girl.
but-
Nah,
Jim and
the ball
Brian
dress.
banged out
It was
an
the
outline
ball
of what
gown
they
dress.
wanted together, while Froud drew enough
Or just the
goblins
ball
to fill
gown.
the labyrinth. Now, Dark Crystal amounted to a very pretty
And all of this
experiment,
footage comes
and
from,
Henson
I
wanted to act on
believe,
some of
the
lessons he
Blu-ray
learned
release from the
such
30th
experiments.
anniversary.
He wanted humans back on set
Yes,
so the audience could better
most,
relate to
if
the main
not all of the
characters.
actual like
Jim also
Labyrinth
wanted
/
to retain the
Henson
fantasy
footage
of
comes
Dark
from the
Crystal,
Blu-ray.
but bring back the
Tony
humor so
Goldmark gave that
prevalent
to me
in
for
Muppets.
Christmas.
So we got
And
Monty Python,
it is
Terry
a
Jones,
beautiful
who was
Blu-ray.
the
Like, you
humorous
see so
punch-up.
many gorgeous
Jones would
depictions,
essentially
and then it
rifle
has
through Froud's
every
sketches and
special
write
feature
scenes,
that
giving us
every
some of the film's
release
most
of Labyrinth has
memorable
ever had.
moments, like the
So-
White
Yeah.
Fieries. After
So I got
photographs
a
and some
lot
input
to
from their
use.
Producer George Hero's Journey Consultant Lucas, they were ready to start shooting.
Just emphasizing
Barbara
that
Ross
goiter
started
right
to
there.
play Jareth and
Sorry.
lucked out getting their first pick with David Bowie. Though Michael Jackson and Sting were on the
I
short
on
list.
purpose
David brought his
used
music
the
to table
Captain
as well as
EO
himself,
and
for Sarah,
Dune
they found a young actress named
outfits
Jennifer
for Michael
Connelly
Jackson
to
and
take on the
Sting.
lead.
Both movies
What would have
were
been?
released in 1986.
When Labyrinth was released, it was a year.
It gained traction in syndication.
That was a year
And a
for.
small and fiercely
Can we
dedicated
appreciate
fan
my
base
makeup?
has
That
been
took
growing
so
ever
long
since.
to figure
Many
out
fellow
and do.
fan
I'm wearing a
described
lot of
similar
highlighter.
introduction to Labyrinth.
Yeah, you
Popular
had
on TV or at
like
Blockbuster,
an
and were
hour's
pleasantly
worth of
surprised by
testing
sweetness
to
and heart.
do that.
Afterward, they
And I
got to
was
dig
very
in on the
stubborn
internet,
against not
curious
doing
if this
reshoots because I didn't
30-year-old
want to do the
reached
makeup
love
again.
in the
Yeah.
community after all this time. Most were pleasantly surprised.
The sign that I
But
made,
they
internet
used
may
art,
contain
fanfic,
cats.
And the existence of a tight-knit community. Labyrinth is unique in that it's a
The
coming-of-age
continuity change is
adventure film
deliberate.
centered around a female protagonist. Most memorable
Okay, because it's
coming-of-age
frustrating to me.
celluloid
Why did you use the clip of them holding the walkie-talkies
so memorable, they
from
continued
E.T.?
into
I
the
just
90s,
noticed that.
long
I
enough to
don't
have
know.
their
It
own
was a
nostalgic
high
feel.
definition clip I found. Okay, the
All
point
right.
is that is a genre, and this is much less of a genre.
What I call slumber party films.
I had to
Centered around a
render
girl in high school
all of
who
this
wants the
separately
attentions
just
of
for
an
the
arbitrary
amount of
guy,
clips that were in
get
it.
to the top of a completely
Yeah, because
arbitrary
our editing
social
program
status,
Vegas
and the
Pro
antagonist is another
11
girl who arbitrarily
does
lords
not
herself over the
really hold up
protagonist, and
to
none
a
of
lot
these
of
arbitrary things are ever questioned or
high
challenged within that
traffic
narrative. Wait,
scrutiny.
Mean Girls
It's just,
did
it was
do
just a
constructive
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
My point is that Labyrinth is a rare breed in how
I
it
said my
uses a
point.
fantastic
Cleaners
symbolic
isn't.
adventure and approaches it from a distinctly
As far as,
female
like,
perspective.
Editing,
Only a handful
dealing
of
with
properties
the
do this, and they
the
are
subject
genre
matter, this was...
tailor-made for me. So if you know of any more, let me know.
Someone once recommended John
Based on a
Hughes
lot of
for the
mythological motifs,
female
which
coming
I
of age
know quite a
genre.
bit about.
I mean,
Labyrinth is
they're
built on
not
the
wrong,
structure of the hero's journey.
because you
For
got
an
your
excellent
16
resource
candles,
on
of
how
course,
closely
Breakfast
the
Club.
follows
Yeah,
Joseph
but,
Campbell's template.
That's
I recommend searching
that's
Earth's
kind of a
relevant video series on the
different
subject.
type of
Yeah.
coming
I am more going
to
to
age.
hit
Or
the
coming of
high
age.
points before diving straight
Because
into the
while
deep
while this is more
Sarah
of like
begins the story in the real world,
in
playing
terms of,
make-believe
like,
and generally
fantasy
wishing people would
aspects, that,
understand
like-
her better. Then she wishes her
like,
baby brother away to
I
the
don't-
mountains. Interesting factor is
I
that
must
Sarah's
choose my
instinct
right
for exciting
words here,
incidents. Decision to
which is
run the
fitting.
labyrinth is her answer to the call.
Like, that's
She
more.
refuses her own call by
I mean, because
pushing
not to
her
knock
away
John
in the
Hughes
first
movies,
place,
they're
but
still
immediately seeks to do
important,
everything to set
but-
Yeah, they are. They are
They're-
important to
they're-
the generation that.
there's very much a certain je ne sais quoi about films like The Goonies and Stand By Me that have inspired things like Stranger Things. And it's not just that it's a coming of age film, it's that it's a coming of age film with a very clear aesthetic and a very clear sense of adventure. And you rarely see that with a female protagonist or a female-centered story.
Okay, as of this recording, she still hasn't seen season 2 of Stranger Things. I would bet dollars to donuts that that season would fall well under what you were looking for in terms of, like, female protagonists having, like, a coming of age arc. Because 11 definitely has that in season 2.
Okay, that's good.
So
But like the first season especially.
the first season especially,
they-
it's all Mike, it's all the kids, it's all the other
And they were marketing it based on that.
based on that nostalgia,
aesthetic,
that
yeah.
nostalgic aesthetic.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that aesthetic does not exist for films like Labyrinth, except for Labyrinth
Yeah.
and like Legend
Getting
and stuff.
something. Danger.
I've only seen
That's
Legend
what I
once.
want. That's what I want more of.
I've only seen Legend once, and I fell asleep during it.
I don't blame you.
I was like, oh, it's a movie about unicorns and Tom Cruise and Devil. I'm gonna fall asleep. And then I wake up. What is happening with the unicorn? The unicorn aspect was dropped. What? Huh?
Sarah's compelled to forget all but the whoobies that made her superficially
We saw that bear.
happy.
Yes, we
She
did.
forgets the baby
I want that bear.
and her new friends.
We saw that
Her
Jareth
life
statue
beyond
right there,
the
too.
It's stagnation for Sarah.
We saw a lot of things at the Henson exhibit, like,
And
oh
stagnation
god,
isn't
like,
comfort. It's
This
death.
was a good bit
But
to
Sarah
write,
realizes
and just
this
how much
herself,
that scene freaked me
stating
out
it's
as a
all
kid,
junk,
Mm-hmm.
and storming
how
off
much
to the
it's
castle.
supposed to freak you out.
Then everything until the final
and
confrontation
how, like,
with Jareth
the
feels
trash
narratively
lady
like
is
a
slowly turning her
She's already
into
grown
a
emotionally
trash
by the
lady.
time she gets to the
It's
usher
all
room.
about
All that
holding
remains
on to
is
things. It's
proving it to
hoarding
her
in
antagonist.
an emotional
She
and physical
says the
sense.
immortal words, "You have no power over me."
Well,
Clock
I
strikes
mean,
13,
with
and
how
Sarah has to go
you
home, baby
revere
brother
this
and
movie,
on-demand goblin
would you
parties
call
in
that
tow.
something of
Cool.
turning
Great.
you into a trash
Cover the
lady?
structure. Tale as old as
I mean, I'm trash already.
a little deeper.
Yeah, if that shot
You know,
isn't
fairies and elves and
a clue enough.
fantasy is a real world.
Have I accrued more Labyrinth things since the filming of this video?
I think I
There's
have.
the board game, there's the owl you gave me, which is from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
But it's still a barn owl.
It's still a barn
Disney
owl.
mostly drew from the Welsh
There's,
elves,
I've gotten 2 more t-shirts
Yeah.
since then.
and princesses
both of which
considered
have been
most
gifts
fairy
from
tales
friends.
tend to follow a certain
Like,
The idea of Cinderella
honestly,
and Snow White is that those heroines are so
I think
pure
I'm
and
kind of
good
enabling
that
you.
the universe
with
itself
that.
finds a
Give
way
me
to
my
undo the
fandom.
machinations of their
I will
stepmothers.
give you your fandom.
You, how many
is
video
not
games
that.
are up there?
Yeah, I know.
Is an
How
active
many?
heroine
I
who
will, I
starts
know.
with a grave mistake and
How many
spends
Star
the
Wars
rest of the
figures do
film
you have?
working to undo
To
her
sell?
damage. Active heroines as protagonists hail from a deeper vein.
Hey,
of
let's
folklore.
talk about the
Made
folklore
Brian
side of
Froud,
things.
who is a folklore encyclopedia and actual believer in fairies, knows well.
That's
He
true,
would
Brian
be very
Froud believes in
familiar
fairies.
with Sarah's many sisters. There's the story of the
Believed
witch's
or
house,
believes?
older than dirt,
Believes.
but commonly given to Baba Yaga.
All of these
Forlorn
illustrations are me.
stepdaughter Sent to the house of a witch.
this took a
She is
while.
kind to the animals and fiends she meets along the
I would
way.
say they're some of your best
and in turn
illustrations.
they help her
Thank you.
escape the
I
witch's
like the polar
clutches.
bear.
There's East of the Sun, West of the Moon.
The polar bear's
A
cute.
variant of Beauty and the Beast or Cupid and Psyche.
And these are
Prince
actual fairy
transfigured as
tales.
a bear
Yay,
takes a
cute
peasant
polar
girl for a wife before a troll queen snatches him away, and the girl must travel to an impossible
All right,
castle
is that
to
supposed
take
to
back what was
invoke
stolen
Anna
from her.
from...
More recently,
A little
Sarah
bit,
shares
but not
very
really,
much
in that they're
common
both
From
Northern
Frozen.
European.
Goblin Market
Yeah.
by Christina Rossetti.
You can't
Two
really...
sisters pass by some
can't really
strange
escape
men
that.
bearing
Yeah.
strange fruit.
And you
One
had to
sister
run this
consents
by
to
me to
confession
ask if
and
this was
leads the
too
way. The other
subjective.
has to
Suggestive.
contend with
Suggestive,
goblins
there we
in a
go.
hostile light in
Like,
order
oh
to
yeah, a
save
girl
I
with
mean,
whited-out eyes
Another
with
similar example is the Maurice
things
Sendak
drooling
book
down.
Outside Over There, which has a
Well,
cameo in the film
there
itself.
is rather famously
In
an
this book, a
illustration
young girl's
or
infant sister
an
is stolen by
illustrated version
goblins
of
when
the
she
Goblin
isn't
Market
looking.
that was done by
She has to
Playboy,
gather her wits and
Oh.
courage and
leaned
confuse the
hard
goblins until
into the
dawn and win back her sister.
implications
And the
Oh.
world
of
folklore
it.
goes even
Yeah,
deeper from
yeah,
there.
that's what happens
There's
when you
also
image
the
search.
title and principal
God.
of A Labyrinth. A Labyrinth, of course,
Keep your
calls
safe
to mind
searches
the
on,
myth,
kids.
with all its themes of vanquishing and
Or if you
impossible
wanna-
Because there is a lot of
solving
implicit
puzzles and a
sexuality in that
returning
poem.
monarch coming into their throne. But that's not our only source
sure.
of inspiration.
I'll take your word for it.
Traditionally,
I've read
a maze
it.
and a labyrinth are two
That's why I'm
separate
taking your
things.
word for
A
it.
maze has multiple paths, dead ends, and
Do I look
choices
like a
to
person who
make.
reads?
A labyrinth is only
You
one
do
path,
read
though it
occasionally.
twists, turns, and switches back on its inexorable way to the center. But there's no guarantee you'll ever
I'm
get
very
out
proud
again.
of this.
A labyrinth also
analysis.
has spiritual significance. Traversing
This
the
is a lot
winding
of
path
research.
is considered a way to
Tons
find
of
self, or
research.
And
Um,
that's why there's a bibliography up
It is a
in the
world of
description of the video.
transformation and
Yeah,
introspection, a metaphor
I
for
can't remember if you got
pilgrimage, but
help
its
for
uses
this one like you
predate
did
Middle Age
with
religion.
the
It's been
misogynist
theorized
Disney
in
characters
previous
one.
Europe,
This was me.
labyrinths were
This
used
was
for
all you.
dances
This
and
is all
pagan
me. This
rituals
is all my
and
research.
as a trap
Wow.
for spirits.
One of the other reasons it took so long.
Goblins themselves already
That shot
have
freaked
a
me out as a
reputation
kid.
For mischief. They
think
are
it freaked
often
every
depicted
kid out.
as unruly house spirits, the things you blame if the bread burns or you stub your toe. But they often fill roles in stories originally cast by the fair folk. These stories are a little more dire.
right here.
They would kidnap babies and switch them with chains.
There's precious little for
nothing.
as
They
far
would
as, like,
take women as
illustrations
nursemaids
for
their own
these
babies and send them back
stories
without
I
any
know to be
memory of
true.
where they'd been once their task was
Yeah, so you
So
had
I
to
did
find
kinda-
like
Sometimes they'd also
statuesque
I actually did take a
representations.
picture of this of
Largely
those
within the
two
film of
because they're
Labyrinth, they are unfettered
illustrations from a
nuisances.
book of Irish
They are
folklore
pawns
that I
and
have.
cannon fodder for
Oh.
the
And I
villain
couldn't
antagonist
find
thrown
like
front
just
and
those
center to
illustrations,
slow
so
her
I just had to
down
take a
and
picture.
discourage her. Like
Couldn't
so
clean it up a
many
little.
egg avatars.
Here's your part.
Why don't you want to debate on a public platform, you fragging snowflake?
The goblins aren't the only phenomenon the Earth puts in Sarah's way
Had to
now.
get that in there
Like
somewhere.
most traditional folkloric journeys, there are riddles to solve.
From the deceptively straightforward
It is surprising how I expected more trolls.
to ancient
honestly.
tests of wit.
You only have.
I've
like,
only
a
had like a few, like 2 or 3 negative comments, and there are a lot more of like, "Oh, honey, I read that cracked analysis
This
too."
is not about getting your way.
But guess what? More than one analysis can
finding your
exist
way.
within one work. Surprise!
Sarah's constantly having
Mm-hmm.
to find out her right questions to ask and the right solution.
Like, what is it
to
about
puzzles.
cracked that just
That is, if she
spawns
can keep from
internet?
being
Like,
cocky about
oh yeah, of course they're right. Yeah.
One of the most mythological
That's like the
obstacles
content
our
itself
heroine faces
is sort of
Jared's
forgettable,
speech.
but you remember
Hoggle
like
gives
the
it to her when she's
analysis,
tired,
so
hungry, and absolutely
Yeah.
it feels like
suspicious.
something you know.
The poison works quickly, transporting her soul
But-
and
Or it's
possibly
something
body
like
into the
cracked.
soap
Cracked
bubble.
really knew how to. I don't know if they're
Besides
still
the
around.
definitely
I know a few of their
awkward
members have kind of
as
splintered
well.
off to do their own
I
things.
know their
There,
video
pursuing
department's
her even as
gone.
she
I
tries to
think has
find her
been
in her delirium.
expunged.
Yeah.
Much like the scene,
Which is
many
why I haven't
folktales
been seeing
exist
much of
about
them.
hapless mortals finding themselves dancing in
But
fairy
they
rings
really.
and stumbling upon
Is that one of the
banquets.
pictures you had to take?
The
No.
cardinal rule
Okay.
among all these tales is to not
They really know how to just tap into like what you said,
the
like
same
what
bounds
people
of
think
her
they
ever
know is right.
passed away,
And
unable
I mean, like the
to
Freudian
do
analysis of
again.
Labyrinth is
That's
valid. Like,
It's there.
There's a lot
All the way back
to
Hades,
lend
Persephone,
credence
and
to it, but
darn pomegranate.
also the
I'd like to
feminist
mention most of my
analysis is
isn't
valid too.
revelatory,
And
groundbreaking stuff.
you know, I put this
Some of the
much
best
research
literature
into
I've
it,
ever read
and
has been
the
Labyrinth
filmmakers
fanfic that
themselves
casts
have
Jared
backed
as this
up
lord
my
of the underworld
opinions,
or literal
Well, there you
saint.
go.
which I put in the video.
All the
Exactly.
So
faves in the doobly
I know what I'm
will
talking about.
not be a list for innocent eyes, but I digress.
And a lot of my
Little
analysis
segue.
did like
Jareth is
were
the
germinated from
dominant
seeds
king,
from
basically
fanfic I
living
read.
like the
Which you just
'Cause-
talked about right there.
Yeah, because this fandom
fabulous
has some really good fic
We
writers
now
that think
turn from
analytically about the
labyrinth and her
film and
inhabitants.
Which is
Yeah.
what
use it
happens
as
when
this
they're.
sort of
May his glory
jumping
ever
off
be
point.
burning
Which is
consumed.
what happens when there is only one of
Jareth,
these kind of
King the
movies
Goblins, his royal
out there.
man
Like,
just
holy crap.
is not a goblin.
Like, I know,
in a
like,
narrative or
Dune
folkloric
came
sense.
out the same year,
Something
but that has, like,
darker.
literature to back it up. This is just the movie.
Yeah.
And everything that went into creating the movie, but there's nothing after it. There's nothing, like, official.
There is a Return to Labyrinth manga, which anyone in the fandom doesn't acknowledge exists.
Exactly.
It's not very well remembered, and there are some like tertiary comics. Like I know this year Archaea put out a comic basically about Jareth's backstory.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's on my Christmas list.
Noted.
However, this is all Jareth the character.
The one
removed
point I
from the
mentioned the
story.
pants.
In the proper narrative place, he becomes
That
the villain
like in the
of
galaxy brain of labyrinth analysis, the pants is like the first thing.
Yeah.
arbiter of Sarah's foolish wish. His
Because,
closest
I mean,
biological cousin is
Labyrinth and the
Rosen,
pants go hand in hand. You
He's
can't
the king of
mention
fairies
one
in
without
German or Danish
the
legend.
other.
Yeah.
He's said to
They
lead
are
children to
they
the
are
land
have a
of
symbiotic
Some say he is
relationship.
the leader of the wild hunt, but he is most famous for the poem bearing his name by
This-
Goethe and
this is a
song of that
specific,
poem by Schubert.
Connection between Labyrinth and the Errol King that I got from multiple fanfics. It's a kind of a popular tangent in the Labyrinth fandom.
I do remember taking like a music appreciation class where, like, I don't understand German in the slightest, obviously, but when the professor played it, like, he had like a very visceral emotional reaction to it, and he said that ending gets me every time because the kid dies.
Yeah, it's an intense poem. I know my musical appreciation class, they talked about how like the piano is meant to evoke the horse's hooves as
Yeah.
it's a very like visceral art piece.
And also at this time, he still had a
Well,
particularly
this
clear
is also something of a visceral art piece.
Yes.
Predatory, almost feral. The Goblin King is also
think one
shown
of my
shape-shifting
editing
into the form of a barn
Inputs
owl,
is coming up
which
soon,
has a rich arcane history of its own.
Which
Owls in general have
where
always
I
been
add the
arbiters of
fighting
wisdom,
game sound
dreams,
effects.
and
Oh yeah,
transformation across
that's
the board.
a little bit away.
Owls were considered
Little bit away.
ill
Yeah, this
omens
is all
and
about
signs of
owl
impending
lore.
danger in Rome. They are
Yay,
associated
owls.
with magic in the Middle East, eaters of children in Malaya, and eaters of mothers.
See, when I
in
was
China.
trying, when I tried to make my Rear Window video, I was trying to tap into something like this and something
In
like
Wales,
Kyle
it's even believed
Calgren
you will hear
would
an owl
do.
near the house when an unmarried girl loses
pausing
her
for this.
virginity. Okay.
I love that part so much.
Okay.
And across the British Isles, they brought the thunderstorm.
I see what
on
you
their
did there.
wings. Jareth opens and closes the movie as an
But yeah, when I, like, not to make this
he
about
is the
me.
bookend to Sarah's
Sorry.
Jareth is also the patriarchy.
Also, another favorite part of
He
mine.
is a king.
Jareth is the literal patriarchy.
It's that thing that happens.
I wonder
before
what that
age.
sign is there
Grow up
for.
and
Gee.
adult is then they end up with the struggle of what happens when an
Because I
adult
did go to
man
the Women's
starts
March
to
with
respond
a
to you.
Labyrinth
I
reference
consider
for my
Labyrinth to be a
protest.
perfect feminist gateway.
And there's a picture of you there.
Long before Furiosa and female Ghostbusters, Labyrinth
But yeah,
was a
major
film
shout
intent
out
on
to
empowering
Kyle
the decisions of teenage
and wife
girls.
for like
The entirety of the
inspiring the
plot is written
failed
by
Rear
Sarah's
Window
decision.
analysis.
It's not a
Sarah's
failed
decision to
analysis,
push away
it's
her
just
brother and her
further back
decision
on
to
your
get
journey
back.
than you are now.
She decides which
Further
way
back,
to
it was
go
just a
and how
year
to
ago.
rebels. She is the
It was 2
she
years
pops the
ago.
bubble.
No, it wasn't.
And the film
you
treats
sure?
those
I am
decisions with the
dead
importance
certain
of
it was a
personal
year ago.
autonomy
Feels
they
longer.
deserve. Other characters
It
would
feels
discuss
longer
Sarah
because I've
being
had it
a
in my
teenage girl, but the
wheelhouse
story
for about
itself
2 or
counts her
3 years.
decision
Yeah.
important enough to conquer a king. The labyrinth
But
is
enough about
structured
me.
like a gauntlet of tests and obstacles for Sarah to pass to reach her
You know,
goal.
the section
does
where
it
I'm
in a
talking
way
about
not
myself
common
and
to
you're
Over
talking
the
about
physical-
over the
over the
feminists.
Also, the classical hero taking
Thanks,
the
hon.
journey is
Oh, I love this part.
Sarah is not only non-violent in her pursuit, her natural way of getting past challenges is to make friends with them, or at least use courtesy and cunning to turn the social interaction in her favor. This is not
And
only
this
a
is-
staple
this
in
is an
dealing with the
important
old
part.
school
She-
capricious fair folk, but
she
a
goes
staple for
further
how
by
we
making
women are
friends with
conditioned
people.
to interact with the world.
And that's
Butter
not
the
like
wheels of their ambition
you
with
see that in
politeness
Wizard
is
of Oz, but
usually
you don't see that
considered
in
or
Star
womanish
Wars.
in the context
Friends
of
just
heroic
kind of happen in
pursuits.
male. male
are
heroes'
supposed to win
journeys.
by conquering, but Sarah
Well,
comes
I mean,
It's not a
with
deliberate
passion.
decision.
You say that doesn't
And that
happen in
ends up
Star
aiding
Wars,
her
and
quest
yet we
in
have
more
Rey,
ways than
who's
Yeah.
like making
Yeah.
friends
The,
with.
the new version of Star Wars with the female protagonist.
Yes, she's making friends with Finn.
Defers to Sarah as their
Like,
leader.
I'm just saying, like,
It is
this
interesting
is
to
an
note that
important
almost every
evolution in
cataclysm of the
storytelling that
Labyrinth
has
Sarah encounters,
henceforth been
friend,
unavailable
different,
to male
is
protagonists.
explicitly coded male. The only female coded
Is that why
goblins
everybody's
are
upset?
the
Is because
Queen
like
Fairy
this
Gates
new Star
and
Wars
Agnes the
reminds them of
Jungling.
Labyrinth, and
Now,
they
if
don't
you
want to
know
be
your
reminded of
triple
David
face
Bowie's
goddesses,
pants?
we have a girl,
Or they're
we have a
expecting
throne,
they're
leaving Sarah to
expecting
fill out
Kylo
the
Ren to
Memorial.
have the
But
balls.
depending on which face of you you're using,
I mean-
He's got the sword to back it up.
I've seen that crossover.
a warrior.
More illustration.
An argument could be made that chauvinistic having Sarah chase after a baby, stereotypical role of caregiver.
Yup.
But Toby as a character doesn't really pop up that often. He's a MacGuffin. It's all really about Sarah.
Living
he is the avatar of the
MacGuffins.
responsibility Sarah
Yep.
needs to obtain and atone for losing. And responsibility
Also,
is
that
gender neutral.
Labyrinth necklace was
Where
a
Toby
gift from
becomes
our
more
roommate,
than a
Zach.
MacGuffin is with Jareth. There he takes more
There are
form of
crying
untoxic
children outside.
masculinity, harms
Fitting.
men.
Lively little chap, I think I'll call him
Quite
Jared.
fitting. We have a very active playground by our apartment.
Jareth is trying to mold Toby into a version of himself.
Fun fact,
that
I
bears
did
the
go to high
paternity
school with
for
somebody
me.
named Jareth.
Patriarchy is the rule of
Not
all.
Jared, Jareth.
Sons are treated
Specifically, he was
carelessly
named
in
after
different ways.
this
How
character.
Jareth
Was he
treats Sarah
conceived in
is remarkable as
1986?
well.
Born
Jareth
in
and
1986,
Cockblunder's
probably
influence
also
fanatized
conceived in
Sarah.
1986,
She
because he
treated her
was
like a little
one of
girl,
those late
less capable.
late
Her
86
delicate
babies.
sensibilities would surely be overwhelmed by the magnitude of her task.
You know, the kinds of kids that I would get angry at in high school for being slightly older than me. Because I was supposed to be like the oldest of the group because I was a January kid. January 87, but oh no, I've been usurped by somebody being born in December of 86. But again, enough about me.
But Sarah does not put up with these indignities. She is content with nothing less than victory. And her victory amounts to rejecting the negative influence of an older male.
Did you ever mention the
authority.
fun fact about that
When Sarah says
ballroom
the words,
scene?
"You have no
Which
power
fun
over
fact?
me," she is winning by
Oh, wait.
smashing the literal patriarchy. You have no power over me.
There was my-
Assertion of Sarah's
There was your
autonomy.
contribution
There's
to
my-
the video.
Jareth only
There's my
has
contribution to the
power
litter
over
box.
her, and she allows. She has always
That was a
had that
common phrase
power,
at the end of
but it
Labyrinth
took her
fanfics
rebirth
to
through the
ask for,
labyrinth to
for
understand.
comments.
Understanding our own autonomy is a key component
Gracias,
to growing up.
señorita.
As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel.
But yeah, the fun fact about the ballroom scene, who it was
That realization in
choreographed
place,
by.
Jareth
Oh
has
yeah,
something more
Gates
than her favorite
McFadden, who is
tiger.
known as
All
Dr.
this
Beverly
bluster and
Crusher on
bones,
Next
smells.
Generation. She was also a choreographer, and I think this is what she did right before Trek.
So, where
Yeah,
does
Trek
that leave Sarah?
started filming in 87, so that does
Mhm.
not
Answer?
surprise me.
Was it a ruse?
Yeah, she choreographed the ballroom scene, which,
Was it a test of
kudos to her,
Sarah's
that was a multi-level
Is
set
Jareth a
with a
possessive,
lot of
rapey
people.
Villain?
Yeah.
Or lost, love-struck
This is where I get
tragic?
into my
My answer
fanfic
is that it
theories,
really doesn't
which
matter.
I could go for
Jareth could have
days
been
on my
completely
Labyrinth
sincere in his love
fanfic
and
preferences, just
devotion to
because
Sarah. But a
it's
massive
such a
power imbalance
fun
has
relationship
still remained.
dynamic because it's so
She's still a
open-ended.
teenager and
Anything
he's
could
still
happen,
ageless.
but like the first thing
She's
for
still an
me
American,
is,
not
okay,
even
let's
old
get rid
enough
of
to
this
vote, and
nasty
he's a
power
monk.
imbalance. Let's just
There
smash
cannot
it.
be a safe, healthy
Let's
relationship built on
completely
such an uneven
reverse
foundation.
roles. Because
So
whenever
the
whenever I write a
foundation must be
heterosexual relationship, I
destroyed.
feel like it's this
Fear
kind of
me,
journey
love
towards
me, do as I
equilibrium.
say, and I
But
will
there's
be your
this big
slave.
thing in the way called
Sounds like
patriarchy,
possession.
and
Yeah, I mean-
you've got to
My
smash
will
it
is
to
as strong as yours,
to
and
get
my
that
will is
equilibrium
great. Leaves
and a
nothing
true
important
partnership
in the
going. So
partnership.
And isn't that how it should be,
But more
folks?
important is
Like,
you
just
have no power
equal
over me.
parts.
Because she was never here
Everything.
for you, Jareth.
so
She's
so
here for the
yeah,
child that
every
was stolen.
Labyrinth fanfic
She's
that I've
here to
almost
fix her
written begins
mistakes.
with
She's
Sarah
here
as
to
this
take up
kind
the
of
crown of
scary,
her own
powerful
throne.
person,
She's here
and
for what is
Jareth
hers
is
by
this kind
right,
of
and
disgraced
she is here
former
for
king.
victory.
So,
Tons
you
of
know,
fear
tip
and
the scales a
despair.
little bit, and then
The
it'll
message of
balance
Labyrinth
out by
is
the
an
end.
essential one. The kings and goblins of this world don't want us
And
to
this
win.
this is where
The
also,
odds
you
are
know,
stacked against us, and
the
seeing
latter
full scope
events
all
of
we have to
2016,
accomplish makes it seem
early
overwhelming.
2017,
But victory is always at our hands.
were
and in our
greatly
own minds. It
weighing
starts
upon
in
my
our
mind
souls and
when
was
I was
with us
writing
from
this.
the
So I was like,
beginning.
if I'm ever going to
It might
say
take a
something,
labyrinth's
I'm
worth
going to
of
say it
time to
about my
remember
favorite
that
film,
line,
and I'm
but
going to
that's
say
okay.
it
It might take
now.
a labyrinth's
I'm gonna
worth
say
of
it today.
challenges to remember that
So,
we mean that.
This is
line.
also the part that makes me cry.
Oh, don't cry,
Use
baby.
your right words. You have
Tears,
no power
manly
over
tears
it.
of pride.
And they don't.
I cried manly
They don't
tears
have
of
power
pride.
over your mind or your resolve or your self.
Because if I'm ever going to say something encouraging in dark times, it's going to be about this movie and about this message.
You can revoke it from them.
Because
Remember,
it does
fandom,
have
if you remember
it does
nothing
have
else
one
in
hell of a
this,
lesson to be learned.
Our will is as
Which-
strong, and our kingdom is great.
That timing was
Pray
perfect.
we can
Yes, it is.
truly nice.
And then this cover.
It's a beautiful cover of Suffragette City, which I specifically wanted a female cover of Suffragette City to play over the end. And I found it. YouTuber will be in the credits that you will see soon.
Hey, what's that iCard doing?
Yep. And I specifically looked for pictures of kind of nerdy protest signs. More than anything because it's the power of media to inspire change. So I have that nestled about with just larger footage of the Women's March. Some of which is
That
mine.
one's really good.
Some of which is mine from when I went. That's my favorite one.
Yeah. Like, kids, if you ever have the time, just like look up amazing protest signs from, like, what was this? January 2017?
Yeah. January 21st, 2017 was the
Yeah.
Women's March. The first one.
Hey Fan Cubs, thanks so much for watching. This has been a passion project for me for quite some time, obviously.
Truth.
And I'm so excited to
Yeah.
get it out there for y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, please. Put your
Isabella Alexandra,
comments
that's what it
down
is.
below
Yeah.
you
What
think
she
when you
said,
think
like,
of
share,
Labyrinth.
subscribe,
Also,
is
be sure
just
to consider Patreon.
insight.
I
Hopefully,
post
we've
things
brought
on
it.
there sometimes, previews, sketches,
Not me, but
as
her.
well.
A lot of rambling on your part.
Lot
but
of-
Keep the lights on. As
Oh my god, I'm wearing a Captain EO shirt. I just realized that.
Thanks for listening.
That was
If
not
you do,
intentional.
look forward to your
And I'm wearing my
friends.
Maleficent shirt, so... I mean, that's a connection to me, because... Sarah's always been a badass biatch to me. Anyway. So that was the Labyrinth video.
'Twas.
Can it still hold up after
Yes!
all this time?
Jeez. The 1-2 punch of that, like, monologue at the end and the song, is stop it.
Oh,
No.
darling.
It's fine. You make good content. Just outclassing everybody.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You subscribe. She deserves all the subscribe. Everybody that's subscribed to me, just unsubscribe and go subscribe to
say
her.
that. You can subscribe to more than one person at once.
No,
dear.
you can't.
Yes, you can.
I'm a fraud. I'm a failure.
No, you're not.
10 years in, this is all that I have to show for it.
Quiet.
Is tears of pride for someone else.
Isn't that good to be encouraging of your peers?
Sure.
Okay, then. I'm encouraging of you.
You encourage your face.
It's equilibrium, remember?
Yeah. Alright.
Thanks for coming along for the ride, Fan Cubs. New video essays will be coming very soon. I am hard at work on my next little piece, and surprise, surprise, it will have to do with feminism. So, in the meantime, like, share, subscribe, comment on your favorite part of the Labyrinth video, or your favorite part of any video or of his videos, you know, if you want to get a man into it.
This is what I'm talking about, folks. Like, okay, go unsubscribe for me. I don't deserve it.